Good evening. This is Doc Severson for the Theo Night Report for Tuesday, June 13th. Stick around for this entire report tonight because there's something at the end of this video I want to bring to your attention. Okay, as we all know, tomorrow we have another FOMC policy release meeting, and this is one of the big enchiladas 4 times a year that we have every quarter where Janet Yellen actually steps out in front of the microphone and gives her views and takes Q&A from a select panel of journalists. So what's going to happen tomorrow? Well, there's a 99.6% chance that Yellen and company will raise interest rates a quarter point. They've been telegraphing this for literally months, so this would be a huge shock to the market if they did not actually follow through and do this. Now, numbers have been a little bit weak lately. There has been some thought as to whether or not they might pause, but no, all of the language lately has been that this is something that they've been meaning to do for a long time. Now, really the key is what happens after this one. Now, we can forget about these meetings that are here in July and November, and we can focus on the big quarterly meetings here. And so what we're seeing is that even in September, there's almost a 71% chance that rates will stay exactly where they are. And then even if we get into December, the December meeting, there's still almost a 50% chance that rates will stay where they are right now. So this is kind of the same thing as 2016, where we had this big, bloviated puffery about, hey, we're going to be raising rates 4 times in 2016. Oh, yeah, you betcha. And we only had one actual hike in 2016. So right now what traders are betting on is that we're going to see the same type of performance. We're going to see 1 quarter point interest rate hike tomorrow, and then pretty much everything is off the table through the end of the year. So in a way, this is really great news for traders, is that we don't have to deal with the Fed. We don't have to deal with this constant, gathering in the square, looking for smoke to come out of the chimney business basically every 6 weeks, wondering what's going on. The market actually can trade for itself. We don't have to sit there and shove mics into Yellen's face every time that she gives a breakfast talk out there and wonder if the S&Ps are going to rally 20 points based on something that she's going to say. Basically, what the Fed has done is that the market is kind of on its own right now, which is really, really good news for the first time in years. And as we look at the charts, I would say the bond market is saying pretty much the same thing as well, too. If the bond market felt that there were going to be a lot of hikes in place, then you would see in this case, the TLT, which is the 20-year Treasury bond, you would start to see this really, really dive from this point. But right now, there is such a sense of uncertainty, first of all, that bonds are going to be sort of this sort of safe harbor in case the market starts to get a little bit weak. The equity markets, if they get a little bit weak, we might see money diving back into bonds again. Typically can happen. And also the fact that really what the market is saying is that there's going to be no hikes, maybe even through the end of this year. Okay, on to equity markets, the least tenuous of which is the Nasdaq, in this case the Nasdaq futures. And you can see that we've had, just in the last few weeks, we're starting to see some instability coming into this market. We're no longer seeing these quiet little pullbacks and strong rallies up here. We're starting to see some, I wouldn't exactly call this panic-stricken selling. We have only seen very small amounts of what I call a waterfall decline along here, but we are starting to see more volatility. We are starting to see more steady distribution on days like this when it does actually end down. And this is entirely consistent with the monthly chart being completely out of gas. Again, I've been saying this for quite some time now, is that I'm expecting this to show a little bit bigger range here. I'm not asking much. I'm not asking for a big sell-off and a full correction. I'm just looking for the price to settle in to a slightly larger range. What this is going to look like is perhaps something like this where we see a lot more up and down volatility, a lot more sideways price action, this will give a chance for all of these charts to basically recharge and come back into place. So for that to happen, though, we're going to have to see the price at some point here put in a lower high, perhaps even a lower low, and we're going to have to see this extraordinary uptrend that's been in place really since the election. So that is 7 straight months of higher lows, higher highs along the way here. This is it's kind of a repeat of what we saw in 2013, 2014 so far, and even before that, 2006, 2007. Right, so we're going to have to see at some point this trend line. Rising patterns like this eventually do break to the downside, but I believe when it does break to the downside, it's just going to increase the volatility up here. Volatility means opportunity. Now, one thing to look at for this Friday is whether or not the price is going to come up to this expected move up here at the top. So we've seen movements. So for example, last Friday, what we saw was the price actually come down and just touch this expected move marker down here, just above 242, touched it for really just a few seconds and then rebounded like crazy off of there. And that was some of the quickest movement in any option that I've ever bought that I've seen, because it rebounded off of there several points in a hurry. And there is so much gamma in those options that are front day. In other words, ones that are expiring in about an hour are just magnificent in their ability to manufacture profits in a very short time period. You don't want to hold them too long because they are that melting ice cube that that we always learn about when we learn to trade options, but this is a very, very directional instrument. So I'm going to look for the price to perhaps, again, continue going here, bounce off of here, and see if we can fade this upper expected move marker on the spiders by Friday. All right, folks, I just want to bring something to your attention today. You've probably heard about Don's tetrapod class, the secret weapon to trading options on ETFs, which is going to be held this Saturday. So he's going to be doing a full webinar on this class. So you've heard about this before, more than likely. You've also heard about our Total Theo 12-month mentorship, which has been very, very popular. But what I'd really like to talk to you guys about right now is the 2-day live event in Scottsdale, Arizona that we're going to be doing. So for $2,000, what this includes is 12 months of Total Theo and the secret weapon to trading options on ETS class that's going to be bundled in with there. And guess what? There's 2 days of seminar with us, the Theotrade team out in Scottsdale, Arizona. This is going to be happening in early September. So believe it or not, that's just around the corner. It's only 3 months away, just 12 weeks away from right now. So there is an early bird rate for this. So you got to act fast to be able to get this. Otherwise, the price does go up in July. So what are we going to be covering there? Long volatility, short volatility strategies. So regardless of what the market's doing, you're going to be able to trade those. Neutral option strategies, technical analysis, longer term portfolio management through longer term duration strategies, how to put it all together in a trading plan, how to use technical analysis to be able to improve your edge, as well as how to trade the Nasdaq NQ futures in there. So with this, you get all of us. You get myself, Don Kaufman, Tony Rago, Jeff Bierman, all 4 live instructors out there for 2 straight days. And to give you an idea what the event schedule is like, first of all, on Thursday night, the 7th, we're going to be having a happy hour with you guys. So meeting everybody in person, you're going to get a chance to rub elbows with not only the instructors out there, but other expert traders that are part of our live trading room every single day. And on Friday and Saturday, we're going to be doing, of course, morning session, afternoon session, and breakfast is served for those staying in the hotel. You can see the conference room we're going to be doing this at. One thing I'd like to point out to you is if you've been through seminars like this before, sometimes we wedge everybody into these things, and it's like it's so uncomfortable by the end of 2 days. you're ready to go. We're going to have nice chairs for you guys, so we're going to make you very, very comfortable. It's going to be an excellent facility. You can see how beautiful this place is, and you're going to want to stay around for maybe a couple of days after that, maybe extend your stay into the weekend. This is such a nice place. So full day Friday, full day Saturday, rubbing elbows with us, talking to us about questions that you have for trading as well. Full breakfast, lunch, cocktail party, discount, Theotrade group room rate, Wi-Fi resort fee is going to be waived for those staying at the hotel, discount on spa services. You can go play golf out there. You know, this is going to be a great event. It's going to be a high-class event, and it's going to be absolutely packed with information. The ability to talk to our instructors out there and really walk away with a full trading plan and give you confidence to be able to hit this market running when it starts again in the most important part of the year, which is the beginning of the fourth quarter here as we wrap up 2017. So hope to see you out there.